Hey, you guys, it's me, Stuart Pedlong, the most targeted. Hope you're having a good day. I don't want to do a live, but I'm being forced to do live. I got my computer set up, and everything I do is hanky and janky because I'm not allowed to edit stuff. I'm not allowed to have a good channel. I'm not allowed to be like normal Americans because I've been targeted by the federal government on a terrorist watch list, and they tend to make your life hell. Anyway, watched a video today from Dan, auditing Erie County. Me and Dan have had words in the past. He started picking on a couple auditors. Once he got a little size to me, he started picking on a couple auditors and pretty much just being a dickhead. And I called him out for it. And a lot of the First Amendment auditors on YouTube, I have spats with because I like to see men be men. And it's like everybody says, don't Monday morning football coach it. You know what I mean? Don't be a backseat driver. But I'm the audience. Don't let me comment in your videos if you don't hear from me. Anywho, I watched a video from Dan this morning where he was unlawfully arrested by security at a Tulsa County public library. Security arrested him for filming in public. They had him in handcuffs, I think, probably 45 minutes. Then the terror pig show up. Terror pig, you need to get this word down. Terror pig, not terrorist, terror pigs, because it's the same difference. Hit that like button, by the way. So cops get there 20 minutes later. They finally uncuff him, but they can't help but give unlawful directives. And what's the unlawful directive? They told him you are not allowed on the property. You're being formally trespassed. These cops literally think that the cops are so dumb. They don't know the difference between public and private property. They think that they can enforce policy. Policy is not law. I don't know why they're so dumb. And that's where the word pignorant comes from. Pignorant. It's just unbelievable that they still don't get it. So I watched the video, infuriated me. I sit here and yelled and screamed at the TV for a while, like I always do. What I did find out is from Dan's video this morning. Ron Durbin went back the next day. If you don't know, Ron Durbin is Guerrilla Publishing. Guerrilla Publishing. Ron Durbin's a lawyer out of Oklahoma who's been violated like crazy. Even being a lawyer, he exposed a corrupt judge, and now they're going after him. So he decided to start auditing, and Ron does great work, and I love his. I like everything about Ron. I can't find anything wrong with his work, and I just wish I was as smart as him. Ron, help me out. I need help with my case for my violation of civil rights and being assaulted by law enforcement and them uh, editing video, editing all the body camera footage. I got all the footage, so I'm posting this video to help Dan. In other words, maybe help myself. So everybody share this with Dan from auditing Erie County. This is a conversation with a sergeant. I could not believe someone actually called me back. If you guys don't know it, in my dead time of not having anything to do or having things to do and not having the money to do things, I just pretty much I do my chores and then I watch YouTube. And then when I see somebody get their rights violated, I get on the phone and I start calling and I start complaining. I start seeking records, and I'm in the background. And I probably made 500 phone calls to law enforcement agencies, libraries, public buildings. I mean, I've got nothing else to do since they've destroyed my life but to bitch. So I'm going to be the head bitch. So you're going to hear a phone call. Hopefully it sounds good. A phone call between me and the sergeant. And the sergeant absolutely has no understanding about the difference between public and private property. It isn't overt. He doesn't overtly just not know it. It's just the point. He has no clue. The sergeant literally, he said, so let me get this right. Dan, the cop showed up. They take him in the handcuffs. They tell him he can't come back and send him on his way. So they didn't do anything wrong. They did the right thing. I said, no. I said, releasing Dan from handcuffs was the least that they should have done. They should have arrested the security because security cannot put you in handcuffs. They cannot arrest you unless what? You're involved in a violent felony. They get you, and you can Google it and it'll show it. And Google it doesn't have the strongest language, which is what I do, but it's supposed to be to stop violence or felony. That's what the language is supposed to be when it comes to security guards. They just can't walk up and say, "Oh, you broke our policy. We're going to put you in handcuffs." It don't work like that. So I'm going to play this audio, and you guys sit back and listen to it. Tell me what you think. With your officers?
Oh, hang on a second. Can you say it again, please? I'm sorry. There was some interruption on the line.
name's Stuart Pidlong. I have a news agency out of Hickory, North Carolina. I was calling to ask a couple questions about training and your officers.
Sure, what news agency are you with?
Well, I want to know why it seems that they have a disconnect when it comes to private and public property and the rights held there within.
Well, great. What news? So I can document it. What news agency are you with, sir?
Targeted Citizen News Network. So I don't know if you've been made aware yet of the incident at the Tulsa City County Library last week, where security guard arrested a man for recording in the public library. They actually put him in handcuffs, which they do not have a right to do.
We've got a couple of cases. Which person are you talking about?
Dan Warman.
Okay.
Erie County.
Sure. So obviously we got security and we have police. So I can't, if it's a security issue that's separate than the police, I can answer the police questions if you like.
Well, the police questions I have is, why do they not have a delineation between public and private property when it comes to trespass? It seems well, they don't understand the difference. They think
as far as that gentleman or another, are you talking about, which one are we talking about? Because in that one, I believe, and I'm not as familiar, you have to forgive me, in that first case, but I believe that we didn't take any enforcement action on that. We did write a report on his behalf, though, for assault and I think kidnapping, maybe.
He was unlawfully trespassed from the property. He was told he was not allowed to come back, not allowed to be on the property, which was an unlawful order. I just don't think that they understand that. Public property.
Are you talking about the first case or the second case?
The first case where the security guards trespassed him, and then the police said, yes, they're trespassed.
Okay. So what's your question?
What training do we need to do to let cops know that public property rights to trespass are different than private property?
Well, their library privileges were suspended, which is why the officers had probable cause at that time.
But the officers cannot enforce policy.
They were trespassed by the library system. The official from the library system actually issued a suspension of services to them.
Sir. Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
The library doesn't have the ability to lawfully trespass someone on public property without a crime present. It's no different than the public sidewalk. The only difference than a public sidewalk is it's a limited public forum. So you can't go in there and protest. You can't be disruptive, but your constitutional rights are still intact. They unlawfully trespassed him, and your officers validated that unlawful trespass. They cannot, as a public agency, trespass someone for exercising a right in that building. It is not private property. It belongs to the taxpayers. Now, if it was a private library, private council with their own private rules, they could kick him out for being black if they wanted to. Any reason in the world. But because it's taxpayer funded, they cannot legally do that. And that's going to be settled anyway. But the fact that your officers don't understand the difference either. They cannot enforce an unlawful trespass on public property. They don't seem to get that, and I feel a disconnect between you and I on this same issue, because they think because the public entity says we want him trespassed that they cannot do that. It's unlawful.
Someone can be barred from a public location based on
law.
That. So, but they have some laws that they were violated. So we're going that situation. Sir, if you don't allow me, go ahead. I'll just let you keep interrupting me. Go ahead.
And I get ahead of myself, so pardon me. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, go ahead. No, please. Go ahead.
They have policies.
Yes.
If a public building has a policy that no black people are allowed, and your officers come up and trespass a black man because he's black, now I understand that is an absolute extreme example of what I'm saying. But the same applies. They cannot have a policy in place that violates the constitutional rights of the citizen, and their policy of no filming is unlawful. It is unlawful, and they are a public entity. Therefore, they cannot lawfully and legally trespass someone.
And
that's not their. That's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That wasn't the basis for the trespass, sir.
I know what the basis was. They said for filming children and then for bumping a security guard. That was the basis for the trespass. I've reviewed this video 3 times now.
So have you had the opportunity to read the letter that was given to all of the parties involved?
I haven't, but if you can tell me what crime Dan Warman committed in the library to be trespassed, then I'll shut up and I'll tell my viewers that I was wrong. But
like I said, I'm not familiar with that case.
Let me pause this. I just spent 5 minutes talking to this terror pig. He's a sergeant, and I want to reiterate to you guys, it's shocking that he called back, because cops never return calls. They don't care. They don't care. They do not care. I need people to understand this when it comes to cops. I'll give you all the information when the video's over. I didn't want to live stream it. I wanted to do a video off and then come back on and do it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it because my computer's completely hacked. This sergeant thinks I'm talking about Ron Durbin. I told him, and this where it comes to cops, they do not listen. They're pignorant. I told him clearly and plainly, Dan Warman, auditing Erie County. I told him that 2 times. Auditing Erie County, Dan Warman, security arrested him and he was trespassed. And your cops trespassed him. He still doesn't realize that. He thinks I'm talking about the Ron Durbin case because Ron was there the day when Dan got trespassed. Ron and then went back the next day, and Ron got criminal charges for trespassing because they did the same thing the next day. So if you watch Dan's video, and like I said, Dan does good work. Not my style, but I every time Dan's been violated or somebody's done something wrong with Dan, I call. It doesn't matter if I like these people or not. If their rights get violated, I'm on your side. If anybody sees my Facebook page, you call me a racist all day long, but I've got more black people being harassed and violated by cops than anybody else. So just listen to it, and I'll let you. You can go to auditing Erie County, and you can link up to him, tell him to my video. He probably won't see it because he doesn't like me because I don't like him trashing people that are innocent. But this cop still thinks I'm talking about Ron Durbin and not Dan.
The follow-up case with Mr. Durbin. I don't know about the first one you're talking about.
The first one is what started all this. Dan Warman, Erie County, went in there. Is recording. He didn't record kids, and not that that even matters. That's a talking point for people to get cops there earlier. But he walked through there. He was recording. Staff came up, started harassing him. Security grabs him, puts him in handcuffs for filming in a public building. Take him upstairs, hold him in handcuffs for 45 minutes until your officers arrive. Your officer didn't.
And what did the officers do when they got there?
They, pardon the term, dicked around for 20 more minutes while he was in handcuffs. 20 more minutes, and then when he was
did they cite or arrest him?
They did not arrest him, but they trespassed him from the property.
Did we cite him for that?
They give him a verbal trespass, which is actionable.
So he received no actual punishment. There's no. He wasn't cited. He wasn't arrested.
The punishment is the.
Just so I can clarify.
Let me interject again. This sergeant thinks that, well, as long as we didn't put you in a cage, we didn't violate your rights. Well, as long as we, and this is how lawyers think, as long as we didn't beat you after death or shoot you, we didn't violate your rights. This is the thinking from cops. They're so used to violating our rights that it's normal. Oh, well, we didn't take your money. We didn't put you in a cage. We didn't give you probation. We didn't beat the wheels off of you. So what we did was okay. No, it's not. Now he is not allowed to participate in a public forum known as the Tulsa City County Library. That is the violation. It's an unlawful trespass. That is a violation of Dan Warman's civil rights.
The punishment was the violation of his civil rights to go into a public building and engage in freedom activities. That was the violation of his rights.
So that happened before we got there then?
No, your officers did that. When
our officers handcuffed him?
Your officers unarrested him, took the handcuffs off, and then...
So we unarrested him, so we evaluated the situation at that time where he was being detained by security, and we basically released him. Is that what you're saying?
You released him and then said, you are trespassed from the property. You cannot return. That is unlawful and a violation of his civil rights because there was no crime committed on public property. There must be a crime on public property to be removed. A disturbance is a crime. Engaging in constitutionally protected activity cannot be converted into the crime. So
we seem to be having a circular argument here because you're saying that we didn't arrest him in there. When we got there, we evaluated the situation, and then we facilitated his release. Is that accurate?
They facilitated his release and then unlawfully trespassed him.
Okay, but we didn't actually charge him with anything.
Do you think there has to be an unlawful charge to be a violation of civil rights?
Well, so we just told him that the library doesn't want him coming back there. Is that correct?
And he was not welcome back on the property. That's a violation of his civil rights.
Okay. Well, so. Are you acting as his attorney in this situation?
I'm just a civil rights journalist,
sure.
and I like to call and have conversation and try to make change.
Sure, and I'm trying to. So I would say great. So the issue is probably a little bit more than you're aware of, which is okay. And there are things I can't disclose because the library's provided us documents on the situation, which you can file for open records through the.
What he's talking about. Do you guys get how he's acting? Does it come off to you the same way it comes off to me? High and mighty, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the information we do. We know what we're doing. It's condescending. They're all condescending. What he's saying is, well, the library showed us their policy, and their policy says you can't record people in here. Well, that's not even what their policy says. The policy says that you can record, but you got to ask permission. So he's playing this stupid game is you don't have all the information. You don't know what you're talking about. The only information I needed was to watch Dan's video when he walked in the front door. He walked in the front door and then he walked around, committed no crime, and then they unlawfully arrested him. That's all the information I need. I don't need to know their policy. I don't need to know how much they get paid. I don't need to know what psycho chick's health insurance is. It doesn't matter about the library. What mattered was there a crime committed by Dan auditing Erie County? And there was not. Policy is not law.
Library, if you want those. There's a secondary case that happened a short time after that I'm a bit more familiar with. So I'm not as familiar with the first one because the second one we actually took enforcement action. So I presume that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, you violated Durbin's rights as well. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you want to move on to that one, or are we still talking about the first one?
I only want to speak to what I know. I haven't seen Ron Durbin's video yet, and I'll wait to see it. It's supposed to come out Wednesday, so I don't want to talk on anything that I do not know because I want to be as honest with you as I can be.
Sure. So I would then say that there's probably some information that you don't have. I'm not privy to disclose it, but it also, we didn't arrest anybody. Now I understand your point where you're saying we told him that he was trespassed, and we did do that from what you're telling me. I've not seen the video on this. Now, if we have you filed for an open records request on our body cam footage on these?
The body cam's on video. I believe it's already been.
Our body cam's on video?
Yes. Dan Warman produced the body camera video and put it on a video today. It posted.
No, that's his video. Our video. The officers have. We record every interaction we have when we're in the performance of our duties.
Okay.
I'm asking if you put the officers. Have you seen the officers?
I don't know if it's the officer's body camera or if it's Dan's second camera that was recording.
Well, I believe that he wears a body camera and has a cell phone and has a regular camera. But I'm just asking as a journalist if you've actually made a request
I haven't received that information yet. But regardless, I saw Dan walk in the building.
Have you made the request, though? You said you want to get all sides. So I just assume that part of getting all sides would be to have all the available information and evidence that's widely available to anybody he requested. Under Title 51 in Oklahoma State statutes, we as a law enforcement agency are more than happy to provide that information to you upon request. Are you aware of that, Title 51, sir?
I'm very aware, but I guess there's.
Do you know which section I'm speaking of then, sir?
I know the Public Records Act, sir. I know the Public Records Act.
In Oklahoma?
Yes, sir. I grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Okay,
but what I'm saying is if there was no crime, and there was no crime committed by Dan Warman, none whatsoever. It doesn't matter what
but what
watched the video from when he walked in the door until the time he was arrested.
Okay,
I watched
so
the video from the time he walked in the door until he was arrested and removed from property by your police department. He did not commit a crime. Without a crime, they cannot lawfully and legally trespass him.
Okay, well, I guess that's something that gentleman will have to then take up, and he can take that he can take that to court then.
Oh,
I mean, if he feels.
So good.
Sure.
If you go on auditing Erie County, you can see the video from this morning that he posted from that interaction. It's probably good training as well, but also.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about again, sir?
Dan Warman.
No, you said some county. I don't know what county you were talking about.
The name of his YouTube channel is Auditing Erie County. He travels the country and audits. And in that video, it shows them and Ron Durbin sending a lawsuit, delivering a lawsuit straight to the director of the library and to the security staff. And I assume the next video coming out tomorrow will be serving your police department.
Okay. Well,
so
then, if they serve the police department, then so if we're in litigation, then I'm actually not able to talk about this situation.
Here we go. Were you guys waiting for it? Were you waiting for it? Well, it's an open investigation. We can't talk about it. This is what cops always say. It's an open investigation. We can't talk about it. Is anybody else getting what I'm putting down here? This is a sergeant. I have told him repeatedly, Dan Warden, auditing Erie County. 3 or 4 times I've said, Dan, his first name, last name, and the name of his channel. He is the victim of his police department. How do these cops do their job when they can't even listen to basic English? Basic English. He's talked down to me. He's tried to, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the information. Oh, it's an investigation. He's suing us. Oh, well, now I can't talk about it now. I mean, why is there always so much bullshit when it comes to law enforcement? I don't understand. Why is it as soon as they get that paycheck, that welfare check from the government, that they just turn pignorant? Why is that?
Well, they haven't served you yet, so I do honestly appreciate.
Well, you said you presume that the next video would be them serving us. I'm assuming you had some inside information about that then.
It's on YouTube.
So you said on YouTube they're serving us?
Yeah, that's the next video coming out.
Okay, so the next video coming out is them serving us. So that would imply that you have inside information then. Is that correct? So you know more than what's already published.
I know what Dan Warman put on his video and what Ron Durbin put on the video about serving.
I understand that, sir. Yeah. So, Mr. Pidlong, you said that the next video, which isn't published yet, is going to show them serving the department.
That was the preview.
So that means so you have information so they did say that they were going to do that in a video.
Absolutely. They are absolutely going to serve your police.
Yeah, I don't follow either one of them.
I don't.
So, and everybody's entitled to do that, and they're welcome to, send that service. And then obviously, once Mr. Durbin goes to court, that'll be a municipal charge. We'll see how that pans out. So we always modify policies based on, current laws, ordinances, constitutional changes. So this is something that officers had probable cause at the time. Probable cause isn't beyond a reasonable doubt. Probable cause is just the lawful ability to make an arrest or citation, and they did that with Mr. Durbin. I've not seen the other video. It sounds like they didn't actually arrest him, with the exception of telling him that the library doesn't want him to come back on property. They actually took no other enforcement action, and that could be semantics as far as violating his rights. And that's something that I would encourage if he feels his rights are violated, that he should probably file litigation then and then see where that goes.
What is your understanding when it comes to public property and the ability for law enforcement to trespass? What is your?
It's nuanced.
No, it's pretty. It's cut and dry as far as I know. You got to break a law to be trespassed from public property. Policy is for employees.
So, but sir, we can go round and round about this. I'm not there.
What's your interpretation? Is what I'm trying to figure out. What is your interpretation?
Yeah, well, it depends. We're talking about living in public forums, talking about open spaces, and we do not traditionally, because as you stated yourself, we unarrested the person who was arrested. So clearly, there's an understanding that at that time there was no charge. Is that fair to say? Would you say that's fair? That the officers looked at the situation of someone who was handcuffed by somebody else. He was unhandcuffed, and we sent him on his way. Is that a fair assessment?
They unhandcuffed they stopped the unlawful detention, and then they warned him, do not come back on the property. You lost your rights to be on this public property under color of law, or you will be arrested. That in itself is enough for a 1983 civil rights lawsuit. I'm just trying to get your interpretation of trespass law when it comes to public places and limited public forums. What does an officer...
I would say the officers acted within the policies and procedures of the Tulsa Police Department.
Oh my God, I hear freaking oink. It didn't take long for me to get that of you. I appreciate your time. I just knew you would be pignorant as well. Have a blessed day, young man.
Sure, you too.
So, guys, my bullshit meter, I've got severe PTSD, and I'm triggered really easy. Just watching the video of somebody getting their rights violated, it triggers me. It just wrecks my PTSD. And when I talk to this officer, and again, I shouldn't have to thank him for doing his job and making a freaking phone call. Why do we have to thank cops for doing what we expect of them? He still doesn't get it. During the whole conversation, 10, 15 minutes of this conversation, 15 minutes and 50 seconds of that conversation, he still doesn't understand the difference between public and private property. How is that? And then I asked him for his definition. Oh, it's just nuance. It's not nuance. It's the difference of me being able to go in a public building and me not being able to go into a public building. And the next day when Ron Durbin showed up, Ron Durbin said, okay, trespass me. And they unlawfully trespassed him, and then they give him a ticket for trespassing. I am assuming they give Ron Durbin a ticket for trespassing. I mean, it's open. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. Because cops know that their city attorney will prosecute anything put in front of them. They know that their courts are run by good old boys that will convict somebody of an unlawful arrest, will convict them of it, and just send them on down the road and hope that defendant / victim will be so financially wounded that they cannot continue. It's a game of time. That's all the injustice system is. It's a game of time. How much time do you have for me to chew up? How much money do you have to pay an attorney to fight these cases? Because you're paying us to violate your rights. You're paying us to run you through this system. The punishment is the process. This sergeant has no idea the difference between public and private property. He has no idea between policy and law. He is totally clueless on what a limited public forum says, just as much as the security guards were. It's just so simple. And as soon as I try to get down to the bone, I want to cut through the meat and get to the bone. Well, it's just semantics. I don't think you got. I mean, dismissive. It's infuriating to me that we have to do this every day. I'm pissed off. I'm still mad about them violating my rights, stealing my freaking gun, charging me money and put me in a goddamn cage. I'm still pissed off about that. And all the internet can say is, well, you should have just gave your ID up when they ask. I didn't have to, because he said, you don't have a tag. They blatantly violated my civil rights. They blatantly used excessive force on me. They blatantly did it, and they had a pattern of doing it, Longview PD. But this is every single day. And I guess the biggest problem that I have, one of the largest, is these channels, these YouTubers, like Sean Paul Reyes. I like Sean. He's way too polite for me. I'm not that polite. I mean, I am, but I'm not going to let a man verbally abuse me without me biting back. And that's probably why he's got 1 million subscribers. They get this big, but they don't return the favor to the public. If I started making enough money off YouTube, I would have a legal fund set to the side. And then when I saw somebody like Dan being violated by cops, you know what I would do? Is I would take money out of my legal fund and I would donate to them to help them get an attorney. That's what I would do. I would give back. But Sean Paul Reyes, what's he do? He gets together with Lackluster and they create a lawyer on call service where you pay a monthly subscription. So they didn't do anything to benefit the public. They just did something to put money in their pockets. None of them give back. It's like every time Sean Paul Reyes I can't remember the name of his channel right now. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Every time he gets violated, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to donate the money to charity." I said, "Don't donate the money to charity. Charity money is always stolen. It's stolen by the people just for the employment of working at a charity. Put the money back into a slush fund. That way, if somebody else gets violated, you can hit that lawsuit and hit that lawsuit, and you keep hitting lawsuits." I'm telling you guys, if you're not pissed off about the billions of dollars that Somalians have stolen from the American public, if you're not mad about that, then there's no helping you. You should never fight for anything in this country. I'm gonna take every freaking dime this country owes me. I have paid in and worked my ass to the goddamn bone to be put on a terrorist watch list because I've got a mouth. Because I exercise my rights to free speech, I'm on a terrorist watch list. My life has been destroyed because what? Because I see injustice and I call it out. It's outrageous that these big channels on YouTube don't put their money back into the community. But what I do, I don't have the money to fight. So the only thing I've got to fight is my mouth and my wit. So I call and I make complaints and I talk. If I had my other phone, I probably got 100 messages just like this that I've recorded talking to cops and judges and lawyers. And is that dangerous? Absolutely. Eric Brandt has been in jail the last 8 years for leaving a voicemail on a judge's phone. It's dangerous calling law enforcement. It's dangerous calling these government entities, because don't think for a second that they won't kill you. Don't think for a second they won't set you up and arrest you and take away your liberty. They have the ability and they have the will. So share this to Dan out in Erie County. Share it to him. I'm going to post it here in a second. You guys can share it to him, and he can get in touch with me. I'm easy to find. I mean, Dan probably don't care much for me, and it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter if I like you or not. If I see your rights being violated, I'm going to bitch about it. I'm going to complain. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm going to try to make change. If that's all I can do is pick up my cell phone and make a phone call, then I'm going to do it. I bet I've called 4 different people today. I called a woman in Florida this morning for Mike Norton from KULT News. This chick calls the freaking cops on him. "Oh, he's breaking the law. He's filming me. He's filming me." So I called her. I said, "Do you feel good being stupid on the YouTube? Do you feel stupid?" I mean, my favorite pastime. But anyway, I'm the most targeted citizen. God bless. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll post this video. Share it to Guerrilla Publishing, Ron Durbin. Share it to Dan, auditing Erie County. Just share it. 16 people in here. Push the thumbs up button. YouTube's not going to let my videos go. I've been on YouTube for 7 years, and I can't get 50 freaking views. The lockdown is for real. God bless. Have a great day.